Back to First Love Yourself, where love, life, and Christ combine. I am so grateful to have you here on this journey of self discovery and empowerment with me. In today's video, we're going to talk about why you can't lose yourself, why you can't let yourself go. But before we get started, if you're new here, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more uplifting content like this. So get comfortable because we are about to get into it. Let's go. So when I'm thinking about not letting yourself go, what made me, okay, let's rewind. So what made me want to talk about not letting yourself go is I started to think about myself in a relationship a long time ago. And when I was in that relationship, I lost myself. I lost the person that I was, the journey that I was on, the things that I hoped for, my dreams, the stuff that I really, really wanted in my life. And when I say that, I don't mean that I just stopped working at those things. I stopped believing in myself. I started to forget who I was. And it wasn't that it was because I let this person determine who I was. It's because I didn't know who I was. And sometimes it's easy to point the finger at someone else and say, well, they did this, they did that. But it takes real maturity to say, I did this because I chose to be in that relationship, because I chose to make these decisions in life, because I chose to be in that position, wherever I was doing that thing, whatever it was that I was doing. And there are some things that can hinder your growth, that can keep you stagnant, that can distract you from your destiny. That is real. That's real. But I think it's important for us to understand, no matter what's going on in our life, no matter if we get a different position, different than what we thought our vision was going to be, or something different than what we thought we would be working, or it's a friendship that you thought, okay, I couldn't see myself be friends with this person, but now that I'm friends with them, I'm hanging out and doing these things. Is it healthy or unhealthy is what you have to determine. And then in a relationship, you have to figure out, okay, even though I'm in this relationship, I can't get comfortable. Sometimes we get so comfortable, we just start eating whatever. We forget to take care of our body. We just, and I know they like to call it happy weight, and it's good that you feel happy, and it's good that you are having a cheat day, or you're doing things like that here and there. But it's not healthy overall to only eat unhealthy food because you got in a relationship, or to only like never work out because now all of a sudden you're with someone. So you think your health doesn't matter. Like, are you doing it for someone else or for yourself? So you really have to make sure that you don't let yourself go. And I know some people are going to be up in arms. They might be feeling some type of way and may be like, well, it's hard for me because I had this, and this going on. I'm going to have to definitely make sure that I say this disclaimer. I'm not talking about has some kind of mental and physical conditions that prohibit you from being able to eat healthy because you can only eat certain things, or you can't exercise because your leg is fractured, or whatever else. Like, obviously you're not going to be able to do it in those instances. I'm talking about you're able body, willing, and you got all the things that you need. You got a YouTube to look at, whatever else. And instead of you going on YouTube looking up exercises or checking with your doctor, make sure they're safe first, you are just like, oh, well, I'm just going to sit back and just eat unhealthy every day and never exercise just because. Like, now that I'm in a relationship, I'm just going to do that. Now that I got a comfortable friend group, I'm just going to forget that health was important to me. And sometimes it's easy to get comfortable in not doing the things that you know you need to do because you feel like, okay, well, I'm good. I don't need to do anything. No, you still have to keep pushing. You still have to keep going for your dreams. You still have to keep going at it like you were before. You cannot give up on yourself. You can't give up on your dreams. You can't give up on the life that you envisioned for yourself, or the life that God promised you. You have to keep going. And I know sometimes it gets tiring. You feel exhausted, but a pastor said something before, and I don't know if this is true or not, but for me, it's semi-true. It is a little true. They said that you get exhausted when you're working on something, when you're working towards the promise that God gave you, or trying to hustle and bustle and do all these things because you're doing 80% of things, or the things that you're doing are not the things that God told you to do. So you adding all this extra stuff on your plate and you're over exhausting yourself. But if you would do the things that God intended for you to do, you'll work at those things. And when he tells you to rest, you'll have the rest that you need. That might be true, because when I'm in my waiting season, when God doesn't have me doing something, I just get like so restless. I'm like, I got to do this. I got to do that. Let me sign up for this. Let me sign up for that. And it's nothing wrong with growing yourself or taking a course. But don't, if God didn't say, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your life. It's your life. You have to live it for yourself. But if God didn't say go back to school for 4 years or 6, 7, 8 years for a master's degree because he has something else planned for you, then probably don't go take out student loan debt. Definitely don't do that anyways. Try to find some other way. Try to work, try to get grants, whatever you can do to make sure that you don't have to pay anything first off, and internships and work and get that as a credit. Whatever it is that you can do that. But some people feel like, okay, well, I'm in this waiting season. God's not giving me more instructions. Let me go back to school for 8 years. It's like, hold on a second. In that first year, God might all of a sudden give you instruction, and then you can't do it because you're so overwhelmed with school. You can't even hear God because you're so distracted by the schoolwork. You can't get direction. Or God tells you to write one book, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I wrote one book. I want to write another book. God didn't tell you to write another book, and you sitting up there trying to spend all day, every day writing pages to a book that God never intended for you to write. You have to really listen for his instruction, so that you can make sure that you don't end up in destruction. You got to make sure that you're doing the things that you need to do in life, because it gets really exhausting trying to do the things that only God can handle. You are trying to fight a battle only God can fight. You're trying to lift loads that you can't lift alone. You're trying to carry a burden that was meant for you and a group of people, not just yourself. Sometimes we get so I'm independent, so we got to do it on our own, and we forget God blessed us with people to help us. Those people are there for a reason. So let me stay on track. So in order for you not to let yourself go, the first thing you have to do is mentally make sure that you're not letting yourself go. And you do that by reading, educating yourself. If you're an avid reader, you're reading one book every week, maybe, or every other day, something like that along those lines. If you're not a reader, then you probably end up listening to audiobooks or taking some sort of like quick course that allows you to be able to hear and see information, so that you're constantly growing your mind, so that you're constantly expanding. You don't want to ever get so comfortable in life that you feel like you know everything. Like a person, nothing is more scary to me than when I meet a person, friend, whatever else, that acts like they know everything. Because if you think you know everything, then I don't need to be nowhere near that. Because I'm always constantly ever evolving, ever growing, ever learning. And I never ever, like, I'm gonna be 99 and a half, and I still don't want to know everything. I want to constantly always be learning. I'm not ever trying to get to a place where I feel like I know it all, because that's dangerous. That means that you can't learn nothing. That means that everything someone's trying to teach you or God's trying to teach you in life, you're not going to get the lesson because you're too busy being boastful, being big headed, just feeling like because of age that makes you wise. But wisdom comes from your emotional intelligence. Wisdom comes from you being able to learn, being able to sit there and acknowledge what someone else has to say without you over talking them. Knowledge comes from you reading and implementing those things into your life. It doesn't come from you just knowing everything. If you knew everything, you wouldn't need to go through school. You wouldn't need to do nothing but just sit there, because you'd have all the knowledge in the world. You wouldn't need life lessons because you know everything. So it's important for us to not just get so comfortable that we let ourselves go mentally. Always be willing to learn, to expand, to grow, to read, to listen to audiobooks, whatever else it is. Physically, this is something that a lot of men, a lot of people talk about when people get married, when people are in relationships, whatever else. You go to college, you got the freshman 15 or whatever it is, and they're like, oh, you just let yourself go. And I'm not saying that when you're studying and all this stuff, you have the time to eat healthy. But when you're grabbing snacks, are you grabbing the healthier choice, or are you just grabbing a bag of chips? What's the easiest thing? What's the most convenient? Can you make something healthier, more convenient to you? And when you're in marriage, are you just letting yourself go because you feel like you don't believe in yourself? Or are you letting yourself go because you're getting too comfortable? Or are you letting yourself go because you feel like, well, everybody changes, everybody's body changes. That might be true. But when you intentionally let yourself go, that's not good. For me, I feel more confident when I'm eating healthy, when I'm exercising, when I'm doing the things that I know I need to do, because regardless of what anyone else says, I know I'm trying. Like I could have I could have love handles or whatever you want to call them, and someone could come up and be like, "Oh, you have love handles." And I'm like, "That's cuz I got a lot of love to give." No, but seriously, I would not care because I work out every day. Like if I got a love handle, it just is what it is. My maybe I need to go up in jean size. I don't know, but I'm not worried about someone else's opinion of me because their perspective doesn't dictate my perception of myself. That is just their opinion, and everybody has one. So you have to really just understand that one you're doing it for yourself, and two, just be confident in who you are. Like be real with yourself too. Don't just say body positivity. If you know that you don't feel good when you gain a certain amount of weight, then eat more healthier, exercise more, do the things that you can do. And if health doesn't allow you to be able to work out, then just do things that will make it a little easier, like maybe eat healthier instead of being able to exercise. I went through surgery, I don't know how many years ago it was now, but I went through like this minor surgery. And as I went through the surgery, I could not exercise. So what I did was I did floor exercises. I did not do any strenuous activity. I was not out and about just doing the most, and I ate healthy. I ate healthy foods, and for about 30 minutes or so every day. Like I would take a little teeny break. So I might do like 1 minute, take a little break, 1 minute, take a little break. Throughout the day, I would lay prostrate on my back and I would draw in my ab muscles. It wasn't me putting stress on my legs, putting stress on my arms, any of those things. But it still allowed me to keep my core tight, and it still allowed my belly to be flat because I was still working at something. And I knew I couldn't do anything strenuous, but I knew that I wanted to make sure that my health was good. And so, although I couldn't get up and walk 2 miles or walk a mile or whatever else, I was still able to eat healthier. So instead of me choosing like chips or something while I'm recovering, I'm choosing like maybe broth, making some kind of homemade soup or something because I'm not adding a lot of sodium, or I'm eating a lot of vegetables. I'm eating a lot of things that I know can be meal prep because I can't cook a lot. And also, I could eat healthier. So you have to just figure out why it's important to you and why you need to do it. I didn't do it because I want to impress a bunch of people. I did it because I want to be the healthiest I could be, because I wanted to make sure I was taking care of my physical health. And it's important for us to not fall into excuses and say, well, everybody changes, so I'm just going to gain weight. It's not, it's important for you not to just say, well, I'm comfortable with this person. They're going to let me through thicker and thinner, so I'm just going to gain weight. Like, that's not an excuse for you to gain weight. That's an excuse for you to constantly just keep yourself up, to make sure that you are paying attention to your body, because you will feel better. And then when there's a time where you feel like you need to settle, you won't feel like you have to settle. And events and things that might cause more strenuous activity, if you're not exercising, you're going to be out of breath and winded. You're not going to be able to explore and do a lot of the things that you may want to do. So you're hindering your own life just for temporary satisfaction. And I know some people might not agree. They might say, well, that's easy for you to say because you're, a smaller size or something. But no, seriously, is it important for you to be healthy mentally, physically, and like while you're doing physical fitness and eating healthy? Like, I know some people say, well, healthy foods don't taste good. You got to find the healthy foods that you like. That's what I had to do. I had to find stuff I really, really liked that was healthy so that I could stick to this. Because if it didn't taste good, I'm not eating it. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh yeah, put a couple peppers on some chicken and I'm just going to eat it with no seasoning. Come on now. I'm not about to eat that. I had to really have flavor in my food. And so I had to find different ways to add flavor that was going to be healthier. And that might be what you need to do. I had to find snacks that I enjoyed eating that were still healthy. Like I might have some apples cut up with some cinnamon on top because it suppresses hunger, with some pecans or walnuts, or peanut butter. I would switch peanut butter and nuts every other snack or something like that. I might do celery with peanut butter, and I don't know about raisins. I didn't get with the peanut butter, raisins, and the celery thing because I used to do celery and ranch, but I was like, okay, we got to switch this up. You got to find something that you actually enjoy eating that is healthy. And I don't mean a salad with a bunch of dressing. I'm sorry for coming for the salad eaters that do that. And you do you, okay? I'm not trying to judge you. I'm just letting you know But you have to find something that's really is healthy for your body so that you can make those changes that are necessary so that you can feel better about yourself. Because the main thing that I want to get across is I want people to love themselves and to not do it for anybody else, but to do it because it gives them peace of mind and because it gives you more confidence. So the next thing is emotionally. So I have this written down on this little sticky note, super duper small, so I have to pull it to me. Counseling. When you start working on you, so emotionally, you got to make sure that you're working on yourself. You're going to counseling. I usually typically go to counseling every other week. I go there because it keeps my mind focused on what it is that my goal is. It allows me to talk about things with a person who is unbiased, who can give me their opinion without it seeming like they're just trying to give me advice that will be helpful to them. Like someone might want me to be, I'm just using an example, but someone might want me to be single because I'm always there for them. I can't put aside the things that I want in life just to please somebody else. I got to do what's right for me. But the counselor might say, okay, you're not ready for a relationship. And I'm like, okay, I need to take more time for myself because that person is trying to help me move forward. They're not just trying to keep me stagnant because it's beneficial for them. Although some people will say, well, the counselor just wants you to come to them. Listen, the counselor going to get paid regardless. I'm going to keep going regardless of where I am because I'm always going to have it's levels to this. I'm always going to want to advance. I'm always going to want to learn more. I'm always going to want to improve and do better. So I'm going to keep going. So it's not about money. It's about me being better emotionally, me making sure that I'm more emotionally intelligent, me making sure that I'm making sound decisions and going off sound doctrine and not just someone else's perspective based off of my past or based off of the person that they want me to become. It's off of me being the best version of myself, the best that I can be. And I think that's how we have to look at it. We can't just let ourselves go emotionally because that leaves you open to manipulation. When you are weak emotionally, it allows, and when I say this, I know this is going to be sounding like a dirty word, but it's necessary. It's going to leave you vulnerable to predators. People that will prey on your weakness to try to use you and abuse you because they will, and amusing, because, sorry, I dropped that word, but people that want to use you and when I say the A word, I'm not saying it in those type of ways, although that could happen in the future. I'm saying it in a way that they could misuse you because you are being more vulnerable because you're not emotionally intelligent. So you have to make sure that you're doing the things that are necessary to make you not let yourself go mentally. You got to make sure you stay on it. And if you're hurting, if you're struggling, reach out to someone, reach out to a counselor, reach out to a psychologist. Do those things so that you can make sure that you're the best version of you because you're only hurting yourself when you don't be honest, when you're not honest. Because you faking is only hurting yourself. The next thing is spiritually. Sometimes you get into a job maybe that makes you work on Sundays. You get into a friendship where your friend doesn't believe, or you get into a relationship and all of a sudden you lose your faith. You forget that you and God was like this. You forget that you really do believe in God. You forget that you need him. You forget that your faith, even the size of a mustard seed, is enough to make God's promises come to fruition. You forget that everything that you're doing is for a reason. You forget to have hope in the things that are unseen. You start to see things and it's like, okay, maybe no man ever is going to do this. Maybe no friend is ever going to be like this. Maybe no job will actually let you be off on Sundays. Like all of a sudden your prayer life just gets weaker and weaker. Your relationship with God gets weaker and weaker. Instead of you talking to him at night, you miss nights. Instead of you talking to him in the morning, you miss mornings. Instead of you reading your Bible every day, you skip a day. And I'm not harping and trying to get on people that miss a day in reading the Bible. Just pick it back up and keep going. Just make sure that you don't lose yourself in your faith trying to, because you get complacent. You always, in every single one of these areas, don't want to be complacent. You don't want to let yourself go because I want to always improve to be a better person than I was yesterday. So I hope that these things will allow you to rethink what direction you're going in your life so that you can make better decisions so that you don't make excuses for the reasons why you can't improve or why you shouldn't do better in life. You understand that although I'm happy, I still need to care about my health. I still need to care about my spiritual walk. I still need to care about myself emotionally, making sure that I'm good and I'm not just feeling like, okay, I'm healed. I'm good. I don't need to go to a counselor ever again, because everybody needs help. Some people just don't want to admit it, even mentally. You got to make sure that you're constantly growing and learning and doing more so that you can be everything that God intended for you to be. So I hope this was helpful, and I appreciate you logging on to watch and everything. It it is such a blessing to have you be a part of this and support in this way. And I hope that everything that I'm doing is helping and adding to your life, because that's why I'm here for a purpose. So thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more uplifting, empowering content like this. Before I go, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so I may not be here because I will be with family. So instead of tomorrow, it will be Friday, more than likely. And I may do like a post, but I just want to let you know ahead of time so you're not like, oh man, I didn't get the video today. But I will be here as soon as I can. So I hope you enjoy your family. And for those of you that don't have family, I hope you have the people in your life, someone that you could spend Thanksgiving with, and also know that God is with you always. I want you to take tomorrow and really think about how you're going to be thankful and grateful and appreciative of the life that God has given you, and know that He has so much more for you. This moment that you're at is not where you're stuck at. It's not the end all be all. It's just a moment in your life. The people that are trying to get close to you, that want to love you, that want to care for you, that want to be a part of your life, that want to help you, let them help you. This is a sign. God is sending people in your life because He wants them to be able to help you. They're there for a reason. You're never intended to go through life alone. So those people are your people. Use discernment so that God can tell you yes or no and allow them to be there for you. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys soon. Have an amazing night.